Okay, hello guys. Uh, Welcome to another live stream. This is Phil, and today we will be doing some mock speaking exams. So, just let me know in chat if you can hear me okay and if it's all working as it should be. And when it is, we can get started. Okay, so if you're joining us for the first time, just a few things to help you stay up to date with what's happening. So when you're watching the video, always make sure you click on live. That way you'll be able to follow us as we go along. Yeah. And what we're going to do today is we're going to be using a Google Meet call so that we can talk to each other. And if you click on the link which is in the chat here, you'll be able to join. And what I'll be doing is I'll be accepting people as we go along. So we only have one person in the chat as we go along. The other thing is, if you come to our website, theieltsgrind.com, and click on live stream schedule, you'll be able to find our upcoming live streams. So we've got one tomorrow with Michael doing a group speaking class, and we will be updating the schedule for August tomorrow. So I'll be discussing exactly when Michael and I are not teaching in our normal jobs, and that will determine when we can come and teach you guys online. Okay, so let's see. I think I heard someone trying to join. So if you guys want to talk to me live, just click on the link up here. And I'll try and see if I can talk to a few people that I haven't spoken to recently. So I've prepared 6 kind of mini exams today. It's not the full exam, because that way I'm able to talk to more than one person, more than a few people. So you're going to experience part 1, part 2 and part 3, but it's a slightly shorter version of the test so that we can talk to as many people as possible. So don't be shy if you want to try and join. Okay, so let me start off with Uzel. Okay, so let's double check. Can we hear each other through Google Meet? Are you able to hear me? Well, I can hear you. Are you able to hear me? And I think I can hear myself through you. No? Okay, it doesn't seem to be working.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, I can hear you. Excellent. How are you today?
I'm fine, and you?
Yeah, I'm very well. Okay, so shall we do a practice test?
Oh, I'm ready. My pen and paper is ready now.
Okay, let's do it then. Okay, so let me get the exam ready? Right. So let's begin with part one. So let's talk about your hometown. Where did you grow up?
I am from Bangladesh. I live in a divisional city named Rajshahi. I have been living here for 3 years. I am a government employee. Due to my job, I have to stay here.
Uh, is there anything famous about your hometown?
Oh, it's a very fantastic lived city. 2012, probably this city has been declared by UNEP as the best green city in Asia. Uh,
Okay.
oh,
Uh, it,
another thing is
yeah.
that in my city there are many museum, and there is an international city passed by our city named Ganga. In Bangladesh, we call it Padma River.
Is your hometown a good place for children?
Definitely, there are huge parks and two stadium. We usually take our kids to play in the field in the evening, and there are 3 or 4 university and huge field inside university, and all are free for the kids. And it's a very livable city for kids, especially for all of ages.
Okay. So now let's talk about careers. What is a difficult career?
Oh, career difficult. It's depend on the person choice. If any person desire to build a difficult career, he may build it difficulty. But when a person loves his career, it may be easier for him to carry out to conduct the official correspondence or official businesses. It's varies person to person. As personally, I am a judge. I am a senior judicial magistrate. My path is very difficult. I have to bring the cruel branch of humanity. Sometimes it's feel difficult from outside, but I enjoy it. And uh, uh, career planning must be built in the early age, so that one cannot feel uneasy in carrying out his next working life.
Do people usually only have one job in their life?
Mm, in the modern era of technology and communication development, many people chose one career for lifelong tenure, but many people do part-time job also. I face many people who, as in daytime, they work in uh, in office, and after the end of the day, and they work another office. And it may be noticed that in the pandemic situation, many people lost their job, finding very tiny nature of job for their final sale crisis, and it varies from time to time. But a career path should be or can be designed to one way goal for bring ultimate success, ultimate acumeness.
Why do people stay in a career they don't like?
Oh, as I earlier mentioned, people usually sometimes is being pressurized to stay in single career path. That means a maiden career path, in facing lots of hurdles, lots of struggles in their ways. But actually, I think most of the time unemployment is a great problem. We know from various newspaper, magazine, and from different sources, unemployment is a great problem worldwidely. So people are obliged to in their staying in their job under unsurmountable pressure or psychological or any sort of pressure people must put up with.
Okay. So let's move on to part 2. So I would like you to describe an important job in your country. Okay. You're going to have to talk about this for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you start speaking, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you want to say. And during this time, you can take notes if you wish. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So I will give you... okay. I'm going to give you 1 minute on the clock. And I'll tell you when you can start thinking and when to start speaking. Okay, so I will give you 1 minute starting now. Okay, so remember you have to talk about this for 1 to 2 minutes, and I'd like you to start speaking now, please.
A fantastic career in Bangladesh in my community's teaching profession. I think it's a noble profession. There are many scopes in teaching. A teacher can enlighten the society, enlighten tens thousands of students in his lifetime. In our social context, a teacher is respected from all walks of life. In case of education matter, teacher has a has a huge task to do. In Besides teaching, a teacher can be a social reformer sometimes. He can enlighten the whole society. And one of my teacher named Mr. Mortuza, when I was at secondary school student, he make us to dream a big dream to do something for the society. I respect him from my coat of heart as then that's why I love teaching also. Teacher has a societal responsibilities also. A teacher is followed by many people of society, especially from people who is ignorant or who is educated. Everybody loves him. A teacher has also opportunity to study other country to get acquaintance with scholar of the world. He can use his scope to build his career, and I think the path of teaching is the noblest job in my Bangladesh, and the career is so much smooth because higher salary, social reputation, respect, and
Okay, thank you. Great, excellent. Right, so let's move on and talk about part 3. So we were talking about important jobs, but let's talk about jobs in general. Should young people work while at school?
can you repeat?
Repeat, yeah. Should young people work while at school?
work at this work.
So should they have a job while they're also a student?
Oh, I cannot guess this work later part of the question, please.
Yeah, so let me rephrase. So should university students have a job while they're studying for their degree at the same time?
Oh, thank you. University is a huge scope, is a huge area to do something. When a student is admitted to university, if she or he gets a job, it brings huge financial benefit to him or her. And I think students should do a job if he can manage it. Uh, uh, Many of the poor family cannot bear the expense of expenses. In modern time, many technological devices a student need to use in university for presentation, for making note, report, research or thesis. So a student should during while studying should work a part-time job if she manage manage in part of his education. But on the other hand, she must be cautious to if any harmfulness or any damage is seen on his basic education. I mean his graduation or post-graduation level.
Okay. Will the types of jobs we have change in the future?
Every day everything is changing as the changing is the rule of world. In the time in the modern era, many new fresh students are coming, and many sectors are opening. It's a new horizon of employment also. So it now and then changing job is like milk and water. It's a fashionable one to some student who is so much meritorious. Some employees also dislike to stay or staggered or stagnant in a single job. They here and there they go frequently with the demand of time, with the pace of movement.
Okay, great, thank you. So let's go back and have a look at sort of where we are. So if we have a look at the band score descriptor, and let me zoom this in. Okay, so as you probably know, you're graded on 4 things: your fluency and coherence, your lexical resource, your grammatical range and accuracy, and your pronunciation. So in terms of fluency, I think you're able to talk about everything. There wasn't a question that you seemed to struggle with, so that's good. But what I would say is that sometimes I wasn't able to follow what you were saying. Okay, now a small part of that was it was the quality of this call. There was a lot of static in it, so sometimes it was just difficult to hear. But that's not going to be an issue on the exam day. But what I would say is always directly answer the question first and then give your supporting details. That makes it much easier for the examiner to understand what you're saying. So I feel that you're somewhere between 7 and 6 here. I feel some questions you did this better. Some questions I didn't quite follow what you were talking about sometimes. For your lexical resource, you are using a lot of high-level vocabulary, and often it's really working and it's exactly the right word. But sometimes I feel that you were using words that you didn't quite understand yet, and they were used in not quite the right way. So that's kind of going to bring your score down. So a tip here is if you use a word that you're sort of 50% sure what it means, you can paraphrase. You can say the word and then kind of explain what it means in the following sentence. And this will actually help you, because if you paraphrase more, you'll get a higher band score. So again, I think you're sort of 7 to 6 here. It depends how often you do this, it will be higher. Grammatical range and accuracy, I actually think your grammar's pretty good. The one thing I did write down was, in part 2, I'd like to hear you use more tenses. And I kind of felt that you spent a lot of time talking about the past, your past experience. So it would be good if you could use some present perfect tense and future tense to give a bit more of a range, particularly in part 2. So I think you're sort of closer to a 7 here than a 6. I think your grammar's pretty good. With your pronunciation, it's sometimes I'm not quite catching some of the words that you're saying, and this is really a pronunciation thing. And this is an issue because I think the words are actually the right words, but if the examiner doesn't quite catch it, it's not going to work for you. So what you should do is work on the individual sounds of English and try and watch a lot of English TV, and this will help you with your pronunciation a little bit. So I think you're sort of 6 to 5 here, but with a bit of work you could push this up. Okay?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So thanks for joining us. I think you did a really good job, and come back and talk to us again, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank
so
you.
see you later.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Right, so what I'll do is, let's see if I can. So if we, if Uzel, if you want to leave the Google Meet,
So,
yeah, and thank you, and we've got Rainy. If you can hear me.
Yes.
Oh, good.
I'm here.
You can hear me. Excellent. Okay. So let's go through and we'll do a second test. Okay. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Great. So what I'll do this time. Okay. So that's fine. Right. So let's begin by talking about your hometown. Where is your hometown?
Oh, me?
Yes.
Oh, my hometown in Indonesia. In Batam Island, part of Indonesia.
And what can you do in your hometown?
Well, actually, I can do many things here. Because I was born in my hometown. That's why I have many friends here, and also I'm working here, and I have co-workers along with me every day, and also I have a family, and I can go with them before the pandemic to the cafe and just having a chit chat with them.
What jobs do people have in your hometown?
Well, actually, there are many working there for the people. It's like because my hometown is nearby the sea, That's why we have a fisherman here, and also the a worker, I mean the operator working as the working in the fabric, and just like me, I'm a nurse, and we have a hospital here, and there are many doctors and nurses. Yeah.
So let's talk about jobs. So what is your dream job?
Well, like I mentioned before, because I'm a nurse, I still have a dream being a nurse, but now I changed my mind to work in abroad. That's why I have a big dream being a nurse on the you know um yeah, not in my country, but working out from my country, maybe in the like United States. Yeah.
Do you need to study hard to get a good job?
Yeah, definitely yes. Because I have to pass the IELTS, and I have to um get the NCLEX, that I mean the registered nurse from passing the NCLEX. That's why I have to study hard to get those. Yeah.
Can young people and old people do the same types of jobs?
Well, in my opinion, yes, but you know, I think the difference it's the load of the job. Um, Maybe the youngster have a big loading of the job, but um, the oldest um, slightly um, slightly light for the job. Yeah. Oh.
Okay, so I'd like you to describe a famous company you know. Okay, you're going to have to talk about this for 1 to 2 minutes, and before you start speaking, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you'd like to say, and during this time, you can take notes if you wish. Do you understand?
Uh, you will send me the what should I say about the
Okay,
describe?
so are you able to see the YouTube screen at the moment or not?
Oh, I cannot because I'm using my phone.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll read out the information for you. Okay, so it
Okay.
says describe a famous company you know. You should
Mm-hmm.
say which one it is, what they
Mm-hmm.
sell, why it is important, and explain how you know this company. But actually, as long as you just talk about the famous company and you stay on that topic, it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter what you say. Yeah. So just stay on the topic of a famous company. Okay. So I will give you 1 minute to think about what you'd like to say now. Okay. So
Okay.
start thinking now. Okay. So could you start speaking now, please?
Okay. Um, okay, I would like to tell you about the famous company that I've known. Um, there is a hospital because I'm a nurse. I would like to tell you about the hospital where um, which is I know about more about. Um, it's a Awal Bros Hospital. I know it's why I would like to tell you about this because it is the biggest two in my hometown hospital, the biggest hospital in my hometown. During this pandemic, this hospital is really important for the people, nearby the hospital and also in this island, because it has a specialistic for to handle the pandemic, especially when the people come to the hospital and to getting the health care from that. They have a fast service for helping the people. I know about this because I'm working in the clinic part of this company, and I know more about this. And this hospital is has a very huge, you know, like I would say, surface for the people, not only in this island, but outside of this island. That's why I think it's
Okay,
very important.
thank you.
Yeah,
Um, what is the name of the hospital?
Awal Bros Hospital.
Okay. Right, so we were talking about a company. Let's talk about companies in general. Should big companies such as Google pay tax?
Uh, yeah. As far as I'm concerned, um, I think that every company should pay tax because they have they get a benefit from people, and also they get a benefit also from the government. That's why they have to pay back what they get, just like to yeah, they
So,
have to pay back.
so, so you mentioned the government. Why might a government, such as the Irish government, allow some companies not to pay tax? What is the benefit for the government?
um well, actually I don't know about this, but let me think. Maybe because the company giving the big benefit to the people, to the country, and to the government. That's why the government think um, the company should not pay back the tax um, to the government because uh, it it's already giving more for the country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do large international companies have an obligation to do humanitarian work?
Excuse me, could you repeat again, please?
Yeah. Do large international companies have an obligation to do humanitarian work?
Um, yeah. Well, in my opinion, it should be like that because they they have a big they have a big uh, you know um, well, I couldn't answer it. I don't know how to answer.
So,
Sorry.
uh, because these companies have a lot of money, do you think it's easier for them to, give food and aid to areas of the world that are very poor. Is that true?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think so because they have a lot of money. They can share the food and everything that the people need. Especially for the for the people who are poor, and they have to do that. Yeah.
Okay. Should the government stop certain companies, such as Amazon, from establishing a monopoly?
Oh, sorry, I don't get what is.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, a monopoly means when one company has a lot of power and no other company can compete with them. Basically no other company exists because this company is so dominant. So should the government stop certain companies such as Amazon from establishing a monopoly?
Sir, really, I don't get what you said because I don't know what is Amazon.
Oh, okay, right.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so let me rephrase the question. Should the government stop just one company from being so powerful that no other company can compete with them in business?
Oh, okay. Mm, well, I don't think so. I don't think that government should stop the company because every company has, um, like they they have to compete with others. They have to develop their company to be bigger, to be bigger. That's why government shouldn't stop the company to compete with others. It's it's illegal. I think it's not. Let's say it shouldn't. The company, the government couldn't be do that to the company.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Yeah, okay, good. So let's stop it there. Okay, well done. So
Okay. Thank
let
you.
that's good. So let's talk about, put a nice page somewhere. Yeah. So let's talk about some ideas there. So just for everyone that's listening, just remember that hometown, it only means the place that you grew up in. Yeah. So I think you answered this fine. Just for everyone else, it's the hometown you grew up in. What I would say is that sometimes I think you need to answer the questions more directly, just because, particularly in part 2, I felt that you spent a lot of time on your introduction. I looked at the clock and actually, I think 30 seconds in, you were still kind of explaining what you were talking about. So what you're trying to do here is to show the examiner, that you're able to link ideas together and explain things. So always answer the question more directly and then give your supporting details. So for example, with your part 2, if we go back and look at what we were talking about. So the question was, describe a famous company. So you can just say, I'm going to talk to you about a famous company that I know, which is my hospital where I work. And that's fine. I now know the context, and you can get into the details. And then during this process, you're trying to use various grammar tenses and vocabulary and everything like that. So practice your part twos and try and get your introduction a little bit more direct. Does that make sense? Yeah? Still with me?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Right. Yeah. So overall, I think your fluency for part one is really good. You didn't have any trouble there. Part two, I feel was okay. Apart from, like I said, you lost a lot of time because of your introduction. For part three, I mean, I have to admit, my questions perhaps were a little bit tricky today, and perhaps a little bit. But just remember, it's not your job to understand the questions. Really, it's your job to give an answer. So the examiner will always try and help you understand. And just like today, if you say, I don't know what that word means, or I don't understand, that's absolutely okay. So perhaps you should spend a little bit more time on part three questions to just get used to that type of question. They're always a little bit more difficult because they're not common questions. The other thing I would say is overall, I feel that perhaps you don't speak English very often because there was a lot of sort of hesitation. You're often thinking about the words you want to say. So what you need to do is practice speaking more often. And one of the best ways of doing this on your own is just to record yourself going through questions like this and then listen back, or just to narrate your day. So to narrate means when you wake up, you're like, oh, I'm waking up now. I'm going to make my breakfast. What am I having for breakfast? You can do this in your head if you want. And it just gets you used to speaking and thinking in English. It sounds stupid, but it does actually work. This is one of your issues. So I think you're probably somewhere between a band 5 and 6, closer to a 6. And that's because I feel your fluency for the later part of the test needs a bit of work. You need to use slightly more complex grammar structures here and there. I didn't hear too many. And also just using a little bit higher level vocabulary from time to time. But I do think you've got most of the things you need. You just need to work on those things. Yeah? So a little bit of work, and I think you can push up that score fairly quickly. Okay? You happy with that?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for the feedback,
Cool.
sir.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me today. So if you want to leave the chat now, and I'll put someone else in a moment. Okay. So thanks very much.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. So let me choose someone else. Got 3 people waiting. So I will talk to. So we've got Leanne, I've got Maria, and I've got Unknown. So I'll talk to you 3, and then that will be it for today. So I'll start with Unknown. So I don't know who I'm speaking to, but if you say what your name is and where you're from. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Okay. Okay, so for some reason that's not working, guys. So just give me a moment. What I'll do is I'll set up another call because I had to enter that one. Okay, so let me put in the link again for you guys. Yeah. Let's go to chat. Okay, so I'm putting in a new link in the chat. So if you want to join this one, so this one. So if you want to join that, okay. Okay, so let's see if we can talk to someone else. Okay, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hi, okay, so you can hear me, okay. So
Yes, I can hear you.
cool. Okay, so what we'll do, let's go through just a few questions, okay, as a practice,
Yeah.
because I think we've already spoken to before, haven't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so let's do a little bit of a practice for a few questions, and then I'll
Okay.
try and talk to some other people as well today. Okay, great.
Yes.
So let's have a look at the next one. Okay. So let's do a few questions from part 1 and a few questions from part 2. So let's talk about doctors. Why do people become doctors?
Well, I think there are some reasons to explain for that. And first and foremost is that because they have passionate about being a doctor. And the secondly is that they have the sense of community. I mean, they want to help other people to save their life. So that's why they want to become a doctors.
Is it difficult to become a doctor?
Yes, I think so because being a doctor requires a lot of hard work, and there are a lot of certification that people need to have to become a doctor. For example, in my country, if a person wants to become a doctor, they have to spend almost 6 years to train to become a doctor. So I think it is quite hard to be a doctor.
Are doctors the most important members of society?
Yes, I think so because I would say that every people they care about their health, and especially in the pandemic time, it is necessary to have a doctor to help the patients. And for the reason, I think there is a vital to doctor there is vital to become a doctor in society.
Okay. So let's jump ahead and we'll look at a few part 3 questions, I think.
Okay.
Okay. So, let's talk about TV programs.
Mm-hmm.
Are TV programs a good influence on young people?
Well, I would say that it depends on what kind of TV programs that young generation watch. If they watch some TV program it related to something like violence or sports, so it can have the bad impact on them. And if they watch some TV programs such as related to education or entertainment, so it is really good for them. And besides that, I also think that it depends on how young people like watch the TV programs in the good way or in bad way. I mean, if they spend too much time on watching TV programs, so it definitely have the negative impact on them, especially in their health.
So, who should control the amount of TV children watch?
I would say that parents are the people who have a responsibility to control the time that their children watch. And they also have the responsibility to educate children how to watch it effectively. Yeah.
Okay. Should the government be allowed to censor TV programs?
Sorry, can you speak again, please?
Yeah. Should the government be allowed to censor TV programs?
I think they shouldn't, because as I would say that TV programs, they you have the details, like what they do, and they to become to play the TV programs on the TV or on some channels, so they have to learn a lot from that, and they have to repair the things that they do. So I think government shouldn't.
So is it up to the government what type of images and information that the general public sees, or should people be allowed to make the choice themselves?
Could you please repeat again, please?
Yeah.
Because it is raining here, so sometimes I.
Oh, okay. So, should the government be allowed to choose the type of thing that people see? So, images, topics, or should people be allowed to choose for themselves?
Yes, I think that people should be allowed to choose what they want to watch, and as I said before, that because at the young, so they are educated how to watch a TV effectively, and beside them also have their parents or their family members. So I think when they grow up or to be adults, so they know what is good for them. So I think government shouldn't guide the people to choose what they want to watch.
Okay, good. Okay, so just a few notes. So we were talking about doctors. Why do people become doctors? So just be careful of the difference between to have a passion and to be passionate. So doctors are passionate about helping people, or they have a passion for helping people. So I think you just confused those.
Yeah.
Also, just be careful of a few times you were adding the S. You were using doctors in the plural when it should be singular. So this is why people become a doctors. This is why people become a doctor. So just be careful of adding the extra S when it's not necessary.
Yes.
What else do I hear? Just be careful of using the passive voice when it's not necessary. So we were talking about, is it difficult to become a doctor? And you had a phrase where you said something like, it requires a lot of work. It requires. So you were adding is as if it was like the passive or something. So just be careful of that sort of thing.
Yes.
Overall, I really like the way you approached the questions. Some really good phrases you were using throughout. So that was good. And just be not be careful, but just remember. So we're looking at, So I said, should the governments be allowed to censor TV programs? Now, I'm not sure if you understood the word censorship. So this is when a government basically stops the newspapers or TVs from showing certain information. So sometimes it can be like political, or like here in Taiwan, it really annoys me because a lot of the famous movies that I see, the Taiwanese government has taken out all the violent parts, or anything with nudity, and
Yeah.
you think that you're going to see this famous scene, and it's not there. That's what censorship is.
Yes.
But so my point is, if you don't understand a word, ask the examiner. That's absolutely okay, because the issue will be your answer didn't really match the question, and that's why I asked a follow-up question, because I wanted to hear your answer. So if you don't understand a word, just ask. That's okay. It's pretty much the only thing we pay examiners for, to make sure you understand the questions, so you can ask.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So So keep doing what you're doing. That's really good. Just work on those little things, and keep watching. And we'll do a full speaking test another time. Okay.
Yes.
So thanks for joining me, Leanne, and I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Yes. Yeah. Bye.
Okay, so I think what we'll do is, there's a few people waiting, so I'm just going to go through and we'll do a few questions for each person, just so everyone has a bit of a practice. And what I will do is I'll try and give you detailed feedback about what you say. I probably won't give people an estimated band score, because it's really difficult unless we do the entire test, but we get to practice at least. Okay, so I'll let someone else in. Just let me know when you can hear me. Okay, can you hear me?
Hello, sir.
Hiya, how are you today?
Yeah,
Good?
I'm doing great.
Excellent. Okay, so Maria, we're going to start with part 2. And we'll do part 2, and we'll do a few questions from part 3. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So for part 2, I would like you to describe a popular career in your country. Remember, you're going to have to speak about this for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you start speaking, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you'd like to say, and you can make notes during that time. Are you able to see the screen on YouTube, or would you like me to read out the information?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, great. So what I'll do is I'll give you 1 minute to think about what you'd like to say, and then after that you'll start speaking. Okay, so you have 1 minute starting now. Okay, so could you start speaking now, please?
Yes. What I'm gonna do today is to give you some information about a popular career in my country. Well, the job that I want to mention is teacher. Yeah, of course, teachers are really well known and common in my country. If anyone wants to be a teacher, they have to go through many trains and finally they have to be good enough to get the degree from the educational university. Uh, for the reason why it is so prevalent is that recently the government in Vietnam is concentrating in you know uh, in education, so that they requires a lot of a lot of those a lot of those profession. Then then they involve a lot of teachers, so that they can bring enough knowledge or education to the citizens, especially the especially children. For the I think the people who normally has the job is the person who.
Okay, thank you. Is anyone you know a teacher?
Yes, I know a lot of this profession because my parents are teachers.
Okay. So let's do a few questions from part 3. So we were talking about popular jobs. So let's talk about jobs in general. What types of jobs do people do now which didn't exist 30 years ago?
Well, I don't really know about this question, and but I think that the security hackers are is one of the jobs that it didn't exist 30 years ago, or some profession related to security online, because 30 years ago my country didn't have technology to organize those professions.
Okay. Many young people want to be a YouTuber. Why?
I think there are some reason for their choice, because maybe I think the YouTuber also earns a lot of money from their videos or subscribers, and I think another key reason is that they have passion on it. Yeah.
Okay. And do you think that this desire to make money online, is it something that parents support or they don't support it?
Yes. Can you repeat?
Yeah. So the desire that young people have to make money on YouTube, is this something their parents support or not?
I think the people in the who was born in the past didn't didn't consider themselves some jobs like earning money online or something like that. So I think those YouTubers, mm, don't receive support from their parents.
How has new technology changed? Sorry, that's a typo. The way. Sorry. How has new technology changed the way people do their jobs?
Well, I think technology has changed our jobs a lot, because there are more innovative jobs exist. Then people can work remotely from home without going out, and technology also brings numerous benefits to for people to do their job.
Okay, good. Excellent. Okay, so let's talk about a few of my notes. Okay, so one thing. When I asked you the first question, which was, yeah, okay, so I was asking you about part 2, right? So for your introduction, you started by saying, what I'm gonna do is, okay? So
Yeah.
native speakers, we contract things to wanna, gonna, shoulda, okay? You cannot
Yeah.
do that because that is wrong. It's a native lazy pronunciation thing. Natives can do it because we're bad at speaking our language, but
Yeah.
in the exam you shouldn't do that kind of thing. It's not going to help you. So always try and say the full thing. I'm going to do this. I want to do this. I should have done this. Okay, try to avoid the contractions. The issue is you're going to hear it when you watch a lot of TV, but this is something that you should avoid. It's not actually a good thing. It's one of the things you don't want to copy from native speakers. Talking of your introduction, the examiner kind of knows what you're going to do, so you don't have to explain that. What you should do is make your introduction more direct. So something like, I'm going to describe being a teacher, or the popular career in my country is being a teacher. Just get to the point as quickly as you can, okay? Otherwise it's kind of wasted time. Yeah. So overall, I think you used really good grammatical structures, some great vocabulary. Just watch out for little things like you mentioned a degree from an educational university. All universities are educational, so we don't need that word. A degree
Yeah.
from a university, yeah? So just watch out for your collocations. That doesn't really make sense. You might say a degree from a renowned university, a degree from a famous university. These would be better collocations. I like the way you use prevalent. You used it in exactly the right way. That's really good. Just watch out. Sometimes your verb does not agree with your pronoun. What I mean by that is you said they requires. So make sure they require. Just little things like that. If you record yourself when you're practicing, you'll hear yourself saying those things, and you'll be able to concentrate on it and not make that mistake. Yeah. The other thing I would say is perhaps with your preparation for part 2, you need to get used to making more notes. So if you practice doing lots of prompts in that 1 minute, you'll get better at making more detailed notes and more notes to help you think. Because I had the feeling that you were kind of thinking about what to say next, which led to a bit of hesitation. Yeah. But overall, yeah, I think you're doing very well. And just remember, in part 3, if you don't understand, the questions, which I think you did okay, you can always ask. Yeah. But yeah. So that's it. Bit more direct with your introduction in part 2, and keep using that high-level vocabulary. That was really good.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you, sir.
You're welcome, and I will talk to you again. See you later.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so let's move on, and we'll talk about, see if we can get another person. So,
Get another person.
are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So, let's talk about this. So, just remind me, what is your name and where are you calling from today?
My name is Tatiana. I'm from Taipei, Taiwan.
Oh, yes, I've heard of that place. Okay, it's Tatiana. Okay, well, let's go through this exam then. Let's do a one. Okay, so let's start off. I'll just put my timer on. So let's begin by talking about your hometown.
Okay.
Where are you from?
I'm from Taipei, which is the capital city of Taiwan, and is located beside China. It's really easy to find where we are.
Okay. What was your favorite place growing up?
That's a good question. I have been to living in Taipei for my whole life, so Taipei City is my favorite place. When I grew up.
Was your hometown a safe place?
Yes, Taipei City is known for the safest place. In Asia. I don't need to worry about the crime and worry about my security. So I was really proud. I am really proud of being here.
So now let's talk about teachers.
Yeah.
Is it hard to be a teacher?
As I see it, it is quite hard to be a teacher because you need to worry about your students' personality and their grade. It's really hard to handle, and sometimes you need to find a balancing act to teach your students.
What type of person makes a good teacher?
I think, in my opinion, I think have a good personality is a key factor to be a good teacher, and also you need to have patience. Have patience to listen to your students' problem.
Would you be a good teacher?
I think I would be a good teacher if I need to teach children or or if I have a student. I would help them what their study as long as I could.
Okay, so let's move on. Describe a teacher who's influenced you. Okay, you're going to have to talk about this for 1 to 2 minutes, and before you start speaking, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you'd like to say, and you can take notes during this time. Do you understand?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to give you 1 minute on the clock, starting now.
Okay.
Okay, so can you start speaking now, please?
Okay. During my student life, I have encountered lots of teachers. the one stand out for me is the math teacher. He teach me math when I was he told me math when I was in junior high school. He was patient, kind-hearted, always teach me how to learn math. Even though my math was really bad at that time, but with his good health, and I learned lots of math from him. But also with his good personality, he also told me how to told me the life attitude. It doesn't matter with the math. I also need to have a good personality in the future. He he also mentioned that practice makes perfect. Even though sometimes I fail on the math exams, I always find a way to ask teacher, and he always have a good very patience to teach me. To conclude it, I think it doesn't matter how I was really happy and really very I was really happy to meet him and to have made this math teacher, and I still keep in touch with him nowadays.
Okay. And
Yeah.
what is the teacher's name?
Oh, I forgot to mention his name is Chen, and like Mr. Chen.
Mr.
I should
Chen.
say it. Yeah.
Okay, good. So we were talking about important teachers. So now let's talk about education in general.
Yeah.
How important is it to get a good education?
It's a good question. I think it is crucial for each person to get a good education because it relates to their future job and their career. It is a key factor for them to get a good future, to have a find job opportunities.
Should we only study subjects? Oh god, so many typos connected. Oh no,
It's okay.
connected. Oh, never mind. Should we only study subjects connected to our future careers?
No, I don't think it's only study connect to our future careers. As you know, if we solely depend on the subject we connect to future, you will find lots of people losing their opportunity when they graduate from school.
So you mentioned graduating from school.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of competition in Taiwan for jobs?
Oh, yeah, I think it is because we are very our semiconductor industry is really important in Taiwan, and lots of people are be encouraged to be an engineer after when they are student. So if they only ask people to study like mechanical engineer, they would lose the chance to be something else they are good at in the future.
Should students go to different schools depending on their future career choice?
Well, I think it is. I think students should go to different school depending on their future choice. Because I was studying nursing, so it is fundamental for me to choose a nursing school, so I can be a nurse. So I think it is true to ask students to have their different to go to different school because their subject.
Okay, good, excellent. So overall, I think you're doing very well. I don't have any problem understanding what you're saying. You're linking your ideas well together. There's some good examples of vocabulary used in exactly the right way, some high-level vocabulary. I think I even heard some idioms here and there, some good expressions. Practice makes perfect. That's good. So here and there, just a few little errors and things to work on. For example, Taiwan is known for the safest place. Taiwan is known as the safest place.
Okay.
There's just little things here and there, but overall, I think you would be in band 6 to 7, and I think you're definitely moving towards a 7 there.
Okay.
To ensure that, you want to try and think about the grammatical structures you're using. You're trying to use more of a range of grammar, and so a lot of these questions that they ask in the exam, they're designed to bring out the grammar with you. But in your part 2, this is really an opportunity for you to show your grammar muscles, as Michael says. I don't know if you know Michael, but yeah, so this is where you can use, because you were talking about teacher, so you could use past tense to describe how it was when they taught you. You use present perfect, how that influenced you today, and you can use future tense, how this is going to help you in the future. So you're trying to think, how can I get as much grammar into this speech as makes sense? Okay, you don't want to overuse it, but this kind of thing, this is what's going to push you firmly into a band 7 and beyond, particularly for grammar. Okay, but overall, I think you're doing very well. Just continue to practice, record yourself when you're practicing, and try and listen out for any mistakes or opportunities where you can do something slightly better. And the more you do that, the more natural it will become when you actually go to the exam. Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Okay. See you later.
Bye. See you later.
Okay. So it looks like I've got one person waiting. So I'm going to talk to Parmeet, and this will be the last one today. So let's talk to Parmeet. Hopefully you're there. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. So is Parmeet, is that your first name or your surname?
It's my first name.
Okay, great. Okay. So let's go through a few questions, okay? We'll do a few questions from each part. Okay. So let's jump into these questions here. Right, so let's talk about careers. Do many people want to be a scientist in your country?
Well, yes, it can be seen that in my country, most of the students want to become scientists. But after studying here, they mostly move to developing countries for their studies.
Okay. Is science an important career?
Well, yes, of course, science has a major role in our day-to-day life. For example, we get up early after hearing an alarm, and we go to bed after switching off the light. All these are the part of science. So yes, science has a major role in our day-to-day life.
Cool. How could we encourage more women to become scientists?
By reserving their seats in this career, we can and just help them to become scientists, or by hello.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. So yeah. Sorry, you're saying?
Nothing.
Okay. Let's look at some questions from part 3. Right. So, do scientists influence our lives more than other professionals?
Well, I think all the careers have the same importance in their own respective ways, but uh, it boils down to one thing: our planet is in danger, and we have to just search the space. So I think yes, scientist is a great profession, and it is more important as well.
What would happen to our society if there were no scientists?
Well, the inventions just vanished. If the scientists were, uh, if there's no scientist and there's no invention, and the development just stops there.
Should scientists be paid more money than actors?
Can you please repeat?
Yeah. Should scientists be paid more money than actors?
Well, yes, I think they should be because they have to do a lot of hard work, and actors, on the other hand, they um, just have to do some acting and they get a lot of money. I think, in fact, scientists should be given that money.
Okay. So we know that actors have a very high social status. Do you think that scientists have the same status in the eyes
Well,
of the
yes,
general public? Yeah.
and definitely they should have the same status as the actors have because they are the real heroes. Actors are not the real heroes. They just do acting in the films and all that. But scientists, they are the real heroes. They must be idols of generation.
Okay. So, what incentives could the government give to encourage more people to study science?
Well, I think by encouraging prac- practicals, practical study more than the theory. I'm not saying that theory has no importance, but by doing practicals, the interest of you can just generate the interest of students in science, or by campaigning, and in this, media can play a great role to encourage students to just become just to study science.
So, let's talk about plants. Why do people have
Okay.
plants in their homes?
Well, firstly, because they add beauty to their homes. Secondly, they have a great benefits in day-to-day life. Thirdly, because it's a trend nowadays to put plants in their home.
Okay. So, what benefits can plants have in an office?
Can you please repeat?
Yeah. What benefits can plants have in an office?
Well, it can be uh, it can be good if a plant is an office because it can bring calm and soft atmosphere. It's quite pleasant to just put a plant in the office.
So, are you still there?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, do you think that companies have plants in the office because it makes workers more efficient or calmer?
Well, yes, I think they should have because there's nothing bad in putting the plant in the office. If you can, you should do this thing.
Okay. Is there any work environment where we shouldn't have plants?
Well, Um, I I don't think so. There's any because plants. There's nothing wrong in putting plant or putting plant somewhere.
So, for example, in hospitals, should we have plants in every single room?
Oh well, I think if some patients have allergies from plant, then they shouldn't. But if it may not disturb others or it's good, then they should put plants in the hospitals. It's not bad.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, so overall, I think you're a very, very strong student. I think you did a very good job there. So what I liked in particular is, for example, question 2, if we go back to the second question I asked you, it's a very good example. So I asked you, is science an important career? And you started off by saying that, yes, scientists have a major role in society. That was a good expression. And then from nowhere, you came up with the examples of the alarm clock. And what was really good was you used specific examples. And that's exactly what you need to do. So for anyone listening, you've got to copy that. When you can use specific examples, it really helps with your supporting sentences. That was perfect, really good. I think perhaps with the next question, how could we encourage more women to become scientists? I feel like this kind of threw you a little bit. Like, yeah, it was a little bit difficult, right? But you were talking about reserving seats. I think it was okay. I think when you have a question like this, it's okay to say, I don't really know, but I think. You know, you don't have to come up with an interesting answer every time. You can always just say, I don't really know, but maybe we can do this. That's okay. So don't feel that you need to come up with an interesting answer every time. Yeah? It's about communication. And if you don't know the answer, just communicate that you don't know the answer, and that's fine. Yeah, just some excellent expressions here and there. So you mentioned we spoke about this. Do scientists influence our lives more than other professionals? So you talk about all careers have their merits in their own respective ways. That was really good. It boils down to. That was a really good expression. Really, really good. Then I asked you what would happen to our society if there were no scientists. You said the inventions vanish. What I would say is, because here it's what would happen. It's all about hypothetical. It's possibility. So I would say the inventions would vanish.
Would vanish.
Or will vanish. You know?
Yes.
So we're missing a word there. But to be honest, there weren't many mistakes in what you said. I was really looking for them. But yeah, that's what I would say. And I asked you, should scientists be paid more money than actors? And you mentioned them being idols. Now I would say they should be idols in the eyes of people. Should be. As, it's a suggestion, perhaps, even an obligation. So perhaps work on your modal verbs, your would, should, must, because we use them in certain ways to give a certain message in English. And I think this is what's going to push you even higher, because your grammar's good, your vocabulary's good. What you need to do now is study, why does a native use that expression? Why does a native say it in that way? Because once you can unlock that, you'll start really pushing up to sort of the band 8 and 9 level. Whereas now, I think you're probably a strong 7, if not a little bit, stronger than just 7. But to push up to 8 and 9, it's really speaking like a native. And the thing is, we can have very strong students who make 0 mistakes, but they still don't get a band 9 or 8.5 because it's not how a native would say it. So this is something to work on. So the best way to do that is you can watch more English TV. You can read more books and things in English on any topic, and you'll start to see, okay, that is how people express themselves. Okay,
I will work on it.
Yeah. So I think you're doing very, very well, and it's just that is one thing that will push you even further. Yeah. And just one other thing, there are only really a few little pronunciation things I would work on. So the pronunciation of the word theory, I think you need to work on the th sound. Th. It's so you're saying theory. It's more of a t, but it's a th sound. So this sound, I don't think it exists in your language. And if the sound doesn't exist in your language, it means you need to learn how to make the sound. Otherwise, you're just going to make the sound that is closest to one that you know. So theory is the expression. But if you don't say th, you'll say, th, theory. Try it for me. Theory.
Theory.
Th. You gotta.
Theory.
What you gotta do is you stick your tongue between your teeth, and the air goes over your tongue. If your tongue doesn't come out from your teeth, you cannot make this sound. You'll make a t sound or a f sound or a d or a s.
Theory.
It's getting better. What I recommend you do is go and on YouTube you'll find lots of videos on how to make this sound, and if you concentrate on it, it will help you. But it's one you just have to learn. It's possible, but you have to put some work in it. And the only other thing I noticed that the pronunciation was a little bit off was allergies. People have allergies to plants. So I understood what you said, but the pronunciation was a little bit off. So allergies, can you say that for me?
Allergies.
Yeah, perfect. So I think it was just in the speed of speaking, it didn't come out right. But yeah, overall, very good. Thank you very much for speaking to me today, and I'll speak to you another time. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so thank you everyone for speaking to me today, and as always, I tried to talk to as many people as I can. Now, if you guys can think of a better system than I have to get to talk to more people, then do recommend it. You can leave a comment in the chat, or you can leave a comment on the videos, and I will try to speak to more people. Now, I think that this is a pretty popular topic, so we're going to try and do this every single week. And don't forget that tomorrow, if you want some more speaking practice, you can join Michael at 5 p.m, and that is Taiwan time. If you come to this page, the IELTSGrind.com live stream schedule, Michael will be doing a group speaking class at 5 p.m. Now, to join that, you're going to have to click on this for Discord, okay, which will give you an invitation. Now, Discord is a totally free, is a forum basically, and if you come in here, you'll be able to find all these speaking rooms. Now, what we want for this is for you guys to come in here and practice. So we've got a few people waiting, so you can come in here and practice. You can look at our past exam papers and practice the questions with each other, or just hang out and, to work on your fluency. And tomorrow, this is where Michael will be, and he'll be here helping you, giving you feedback and advice, and it will really help you guys work on your speaking skills. Okay, so thank you again, everyone, for joining me, and I will see you again next Friday for the speaking test, and we will be posting on tomorrow. After tomorrow, we'll be posting our schedule for the rest of August, and you'll find out exactly when to find us. So thanks, everyone. Well done to everyone that spoke to me. You guys are amazing. This wouldn't happen without you guys, so thanks very much. All right, see you later.